Welcome to Lesson 3.4, Meal Preparation and Nutrition. Food and hydration are essential parts of everyday care. As a care partner, you may prepare meals, assist with eating, provide reminders, encourage hydration, observe changes in appetite, and follow specific dietary instructions. Your role is not to create your own diet plan for the client. Your responsibility is to follow the approved care plan and provide meals safely, respectfully, and according to the client's needs. Before preparing a meal, know the client's dietary requirements. Some clients may have allergies, restrictions, special food textures, or specific instructions related to their health. Others may simply require assistance with meal preparation because they are unable to safely cook for themselves. Never assume that a food is appropriate just because it appears healthy. Follow the care plan and any approved dietary instructions. Food can be closely connected to culture, family, religion, memories, and personal identity. Do not force your own food preferences onto the client. If there are multiple approved options, allow the client to choose. For example, you might ask whether they would prefer oatmeal or toast for breakfast. Respecting reasonable preferences can make meals more enjoyable and encourage better participation. Proper hand hygiene is one of the most important parts of safe food preparation. Wash your hands before preparing meals and before directly assisting a client with eating. Wash again whenever your hands may become contaminated. Gloves do not replace proper hand washing. Always follow agency infection control procedures. Cross-contamination occurs when harmful microorganisms are transferred from one food or surface to another. Raw meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs should be handled carefully and kept away from foods that will not be cooked. Use clean utensils and preparation surfaces. Wash fruits and vegetables appropriately. Clean areas after preparing raw foods before using them for other meal preparation. Foods must be cooked thoroughly to reduce the risk of foodborne illness. Color and appearance alone are not always reliable indicators of whether food is safe. If the client's home has a food thermometer and your duties include cooking, use safe food handling practices and follow applicable instructions. Never serve food you believe may be unsafe. Food that is stored incorrectly can make a client sick. Perishable foods should not remain at unsafe temperatures for extended periods. Check food for spoilage before serving it. Do not serve food with unusual odors, mold, leaking packaging, or other signs that it may be unsafe. When uncertain, follow agency procedures rather than taking unnecessary risks. Before serving food, take a moment to confirm that the meal is appropriate for the client. Make sure any dietary restrictions or texture requirements have been followed. Check that food is not dangerously hot. If the client requires assistance with positioning, make sure they are safely positioned before beginning the meal. A few seconds of checking can prevent serious problems. Some clients may have dietary instructions related to medical conditions. Care partners should not independently add, remove, or change those restrictions. For example, do not decide that a client no longer needs thickened liquids because they seem to be swallowing well today. Do not change a low-sodium diet because the client asks for a food that is outside their approved plan without following agency procedures. When questions arise, contact the appropriate supervisor. Some clients may require food or liquids to be modified because of chewing or swallowing difficulties. The required texture should be clearly identified in the care plan or dietary instructions. Do not guess. Do not independently change food consistency. Preparing a food incorrectly for someone with swallowing problems can create a serious choking or aspiration risk. Safe positioning can help reduce choking and swallowing risks. Clients should generally be upright for eating unless their care plan directs otherwise. Do not attempt to feed someone who is lying flat. If the client is unusually sleepy, cannot remain safely positioned, or appears unable to safely participate in the meal, stop and follow agency procedures. Mealtime is another opportunity to maintain independence. If a client can safely feed themselves, allow them to do so. Adaptive utensils or other approved equipment may sometimes help. Avoid rushing simply because feeding the client yourself would be faster. Independence, dignity, and participation are important parts of quality care. If a client requires hands-on feeding assistance, stay focused on the client. Offer food at a safe pace. Give them time to chew and swallow before offering another bite. Never force food into someone's mouth. Do not rush. Pay close attention to signs that the client may be having difficulty. Difficulty swallowing is called dysphagia. Care partners should recognize possible signs but should not diagnose the condition themselves. Coughing, choking, holding food in the mouth, repeated throat clearing, or changes in the voice during meals may indicate a problem. If new or worsening swallowing difficulty occurs, stop the meal when appropriate and follow agency procedures. Choking can become life-threatening very quickly. A person who is coughing effectively may still be moving air. A person with a complete or severe airway obstruction may be unable to speak, breathe, or cough effectively. Follow your current CPR and first aid training and the agency's emergency response procedures. Activate emergency medical services when required. Hydration is an important part of client care. Some older adults may not recognize thirst as easily or may forget to drink. Offer approved fluids regularly according to the care plan. At the same time, some clients may have medical instructions limiting fluids. Never ignore a fluid restriction. Report concerns or significant changes according to agency procedures. Everyone has occasional changes in appetite, but a significant or persistent change from a client's normal eating habits should be reported. Document what you actually observe. For example, rather than writing that the client didn't eat, document the approximate amount consumed when possible. Patterns are important for the care team. Clients have the right to refuse food and fluids. If a client refuses a meal, calmly ask whether something is wrong. Maybe they dislike the meal. Maybe they are nauseated. Maybe they are experiencing pain. You may offer another approved option if allowed. Never threaten, shame, or physically force someone to eat. Document refusals and follow reporting requirements. Dementia can affect eating in several ways. A client may forget that a meal was served. They may become distracted by too many items on the table. They may no longer recognize certain foods or utensils. Reduce unnecessary distractions and provide simple choices. Encourage without arguing. Allow additional time. Follow the client's individualized care plan. A food allergy can cause a serious reaction. Care partners should know whether the client has documented food allergies. Check ingredients when necessary and avoid cross-contact. If you are unsure whether a food is safe, do not simply serve it and hope for the best. Follow agency procedures or contact the appropriate supervisor. Some allergic reactions can become life-threatening. Difficulty breathing, significant swelling, sudden wheezing, trouble swallowing, or loss of consciousness require immediate emergency action. Follow your emergency training and agency procedures. Do not delay emergency care while trying to determine exactly what caused the reaction. Meal preparation also includes preventing burns, falls, cuts, and fires. Keep the kitchen environment organized. Clean spills quickly. Use appliances according to instructions. Be especially careful when the client has dementia, impaired judgment, mobility problems, or other safety risks. Follow the client's care plan regarding kitchen access and supervision. Some assignments may include grocery shopping or helping clients organize food purchases. Follow agency policy carefully when handling client money. Keep required receipts and documentation. Never borrow money, use a client's funds for yourself, or purchase unauthorized items. When a request falls outside your assigned responsibilities, contact your supervisor. Documentation should accurately reflect the assistance provided. If the client refused lunch, document the refusal. If they ate only a small portion when they normally eat the entire meal, that may be important. If you observe coughing or difficulty swallowing, document what you observed and who you notified. Never falsify food or fluid intake. This example provides useful information. Instead of writing, client barely ate, it describes approximately how much was consumed. It documents what was offered, the client's response, and whether any swallowing difficulty was observed. Objective information helps the care team understand what is actually happening. These are important meal preparation safety rules. Never ignore a dietary restriction because it is inconvenient. Never serve a food you know contains an allergen. Never change a prescribed texture or consistency on your own. Never force feed. And never hide significant changes in eating, drinking, or swallowing. The correct answer is C. Repeated coughing and a wet-sounding voice during a meal may indicate difficulty swallowing. Do not keep feeding the client as though nothing has changed. Stop and follow agency procedures. If the client begins choking or develops an airway emergency, follow your emergency training immediately. Remember the word meal. Match the meal and assistance to the care plan. Ensure safe food preparation and storage. Assist without rushing or taking over unnecessarily, and look for changes in appetite, hydration, chewing, swallowing, or overall ability. Let's review. Care partners should not independently change prescribed dietary instructions. Proper positioning supports safer eating and swallowing. Coughing, choking, food remaining in the mouth, or difficulty swallowing can be warning signs. A client who refuses food should not be forced, and significant changes in eating, drinking, chewing, or swallowing should be documented and reported according to agency procedures. You have completed Lesson 3.4, Meal Preparation and Nutrition. Remember that safe meal assistance combines food safety, proper positioning, respect for dietary instructions, client choice, hydration support, careful observation, and accurate documentation. Never independently change a client's prescribed diet or food texture. When eating or swallowing abilities change, recognize the concern and report it. Next, we will continue Section 3 with Lesson 3.5, Fall Prevention.